Good afternoon to all of you. I have circulated a column which I wrote yesterday that can be a starting point for this interaction. I will make a brief opening statement. The BJP came to office with an absolute majority in the Lok Sabha, 282 seats. The first time that a government had an absolute majority after 30 years. They came on the promise of achievement. As far as the economy was concerned, it meant development and jobs. They have completed 1 year, which is 20% of their term. So I think it's fair to ask the question, what have they achieved in terms of development, in terms of creating jobs in the last 1 year? That is the question that I want to address today. My distinguished colleagues have in the past few days met you and spoke to you about a number of issues: defense, commerce, trade, foreign affairs. But I want to focus today on the economy. My worry is that whatever be the intentions of the government, and let me assume that the intentions are good, I do not see an overarching vision of how the economy will go forward. And I don't see how that vision is being translated into specific policies. And I don't see how those policies are being broken down into specific programs and being implemented. In fact, at the end of my column, which is where I wish to start today, I have listed issues which are worrying issues. My concern is the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister and the government are not reading the tea leaves correctly. There are worrying signs. I've listed 5, but I can add more to that. Credit growth is sluggish, in fact the lowest in many years. Aggregate demand is low. The core sector is performing very poorly. A large number of projects, according to Dr. Rangarajan this morning, 161 in the public sector and 585 in the private sector are stalled. FSLRC recommendations are not being implemented. The direct taxes code has been dumped. A number of other things which could have been done with 282 in the Lok Sabha have been put on the back burner. Now add to this some other issues that have been highlighted by other eminent writers and columnists. It's been pointed out that oil prices are rising again. Gold imports have surged. That will impact the current account deficit. India will remain a net importer of coal, despite your boast that the coal auctions were a great success. Exports, after many, many years, have shown negative growth in 2014-15, and a number of other issues. So I think it's time for the opposition to ask, for the media to ask, and it's the obligation of government to answer how they read these worrying signals and what is the way forward. I think I'll stop here and we'll take questions, and if necessary, I'll make a statement.
Mr. Chidambaram, Mr. Arun Jaitley, he has accused your party of positioning itself against development and growth, which he said might derail objective.
Well, I don't agree. In fact, it was Mr. Arun Jaitley who in a speech in London and repeated on another occasion said, obstructionism is a legitimate parliamentary tactic. But we are not obstructing. Did we obstruct the insurance bill? They obstructed the insurance bill for 5 successive sessions. I was virtually imploring them to pass the insurance bill. They obstructed it for 5 sessions. We passed it after 3 months. Did we obstruct the black money bill? We had reservations in the black money bill, but we allowed it to be passed. What are we obstructing? We have asked that the GST be referred to a standing committee and to be reported back in 2 months. They have made 8 amendments to the bill that was introduced by our government. What is wrong in a standing committee taking a look at those 8 amendments and taking 2 months? Is 2 months obstructionism? I reject the argument that we are obstructing. I wish him well in his aspiration to have double-digit growth. But it won't have double-digit growth by simply accusing the opposition.
Mr. Chidambaram, I have a question. Arun Jaitley has said that Congress suffers from legislative illiteracy. Now the last 1 year of good governance at the Korea, has it made you any wiser?
I don't understand. What has illiteracy got to do with wisdom? A lot of people who are not literate are also wise. A lot of people who are very literate are unwise. What has that got to do with each other?
Do you accept that you suffer from legislative illiteracy?
I don't know what that means. We are not drafting legislation. Those who draft legislation must be literate. We are not drafting legislation now. I don't know what that means.
Coming back to GST, you saw those 8 amendments. Does it change because these are part of the standing committee recommendations that have done? These have been discussed, and so really it was more politics for postponing it than anything else. So do you have any fundamental differences with those 8 amendments, or you would just want to leave it to a standing committee and delay it?
That is a question that should be put to the elected members of parliament. The members of parliament felt that this is an important constitutional amendment. It deserves to go to a standing committee. All bills must go to a standing committee. In fact, it is this government which is bypassing the standing committee. I believe some 45, 50 bills have been passed bypassing the standing committee. But if Parliament, the elected members of Parliament believe that a constitution amendment bill that will fundamentally change the taxation structure of this country should go to a standing committee, and we should take 2 months for that. I think it's a perfectly legitimate request.
But do you have any fundamental differences with that?
That you must ask the standing committee. I am not a member of the standing committee.
No, as a party, I am not talking
As a party, yes, our members in the standing committee will articulate the party's position. They will hear other party members. They may modify their position. But after give and take in the standing committee, it is a standing committee which has to come up with a recommendation.
Sir, एक दावा और है कि प्राइस हाइक बाकी सब चीजों में रोक दिया एक्सेप्ट पल्सेस, बाकी जगह महंगाई रोकने में ये सरकार कामयाब है, ये उनका दावा है.
That's not correct. Urad, moong, and one more dal, arhar. All 3 dals, there is a price rise. There's a price rise in 3 or 4 key vegetables. All that has been documented. These numbers have been published. There's a price rise in milk. But it's not correct to say that there's no price rise. While retail inflation has indeed come down, there are at least 3 dals and 4 or 5 vegetables and milk where there is a considerable price rise hurting the average family.
So this morning the finance minister, I was there in the press conference, he was put this question, and he said that if you look year on year and quarter between UPA and EA, both consumer price index and wholesale price index have come down. It's only a case of seasonal vegetables and pulses. He says that overall you have to accept the paradigm that they have brought down the prices. How do you respond to that?
Well,
except such seasonal, he admitted that such seasonal.
okay, I'm glad you admitted that. Now, inflation began to decline in November 2013. I want you to note these dates because sometimes I find that the media simply has no memory. November 2013, inflation began to decline. And see the graph of both WPI and CPI, secular decline from November 2013 downward. In November 2014, that is within 6 months of the old government going out of office and the new government coming, WPI touched zero. Are you seriously suggesting, is Mr. Jaitley seriously suggesting that WPI became zero only during those 6 months and nothing that happened before the same time? November 2014, WPI became zero, and since then it has become negative. Therefore, the decline in prices is attributable to measures taken by the UPA government as well as the measures taken by the NDA government. But the biggest contributor has neither been the UPA nor the NDA. The biggest contributor to the decline is our friends who produce oil. Oil prices have halved. I wish that during the 10 years of our government, oil prices had been at $40 a barrel.
So I have a question.
Just a moment, we decide.
सर, जनता के अगेंस्ट क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाना चाहेगी कांग्रेस या सपोर्ट करेगी सुप्रीम कोर्ट पे अपील करने के लिए?
For what?
जनता के
I don't know. That is a subject which is entirely within the domain of the Karnataka government. I believe the Karnataka cabinet is meeting today or tomorrow to take a decision. I have nothing further to say, and I would request that this press conference be kindly confined, at least the first part of it, to questions of the conference.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi has given the government 0 out of 10. What is your rating for the Prime Minister as well as the Finance Minister?
I don't believe in rating anyone. It's the people who must rate. Each one sees from his point of view. If you ask the farmer today, the average farmer, I come from a largely rural constituency. I was there the last couple of days. I visited twice a month. The average farmer today, as well as Dr. Ashok Gulati, one of the foremost agricultural experts in this country, will give it 0 out of 10. But if we ask a big industrialist who was promised 5,000 crore by the State Bank of India, he will of course give it 10 out of 10. So it depends on who is answering the question, from what point of view you are answering the question.
Sir, it being said that the claim by BJP that last 1 year saw no scams, no scandals relating to us. Do you buy this?
There was no scandal, no scam in the UPA's 2004-2005, 2005-2006, 2006-2007. So what kind of a comparison is this? I'm happy that there is no scam, as if I wish a scam. We don't wish a scam. I'm happy that there is no scam. But only time will tell whether right decisions are being taken or wrong decisions are being taken. I do not wish them to take wrong decisions. If they take right decisions, we are very happy.
So the UPA government has been maintaining that all the policy decisions that are actually being pushed by the present government are in some form repackaging of your government policies. But I was just at a FICCI event, and the sense of the industry is that it doesn't matter who had initiated these policies, but the present government at least is able to give a renewed push to these policies and implement them in a more effective manner and actually communicate better with the masses.
Vicky said the same thing to us when we came to office in 2004. Vicky said the same thing to Mr. Vajpayee when he came to office in 1999. And I remember Vicky said the same thing to me when I first came to office in 1996.
So would you say the industry has no credibility?
No, the industry has credibility. Its credibility believes the foundation for its credibility is its so-called political neutrality. It will say the same thing. That's not the point. Your question is a very serious question. Let me answer that. National Skill Development Mission under Mr. Ramadure continues, named today Skill India. Nirmal Bharat Abhiyan renamed as Swachh Bharat. Aam Aadmi Bima Yojana, Rashtriya Swasth Bima Yojana, renamed as Pradhan Mantri -- Yojana. Financial inclusion, of which Dr. Rangarajan was a passionate advocate. Zero balance account, no frills account, renamed as Jan Dhan. In fact, the best praise is, the best flattery is imitation. I'm very happy that the NDA government is imitating or following our policies and continuing with that. Why should I not be happy? I'm very happy with that.
But in hindsight, do you feel that even though your government had a good vision, it was not able to implement its vision?
That's not correct. Take the financial inclusion. Until 31st March 2014, we had added 24 crore accounts. Please send a letter to the RBI, they will confirm the number. Send an RTI to the RBI, 24 crore accounts. Since then, until last month, they said they had added 12.36 crore accounts. Now they're saying they've added 14 crore accounts. So the 14 crore accounts stands on the shoulder of the 24 crore accounts. The total number of accounts are not 14 crore. The total number of accounts are 38 crore. So why do you say we have not implemented it? Take Swachh Bharat, individual toilets. Go to the Planning Commission records, go to the annual economic survey. Every year they put out the number of individual toilets that have been constructed. This government is doing the same thing. They want to build individual toilets. I think their target is 1.2 crore this year. That's good. We also built individual toilets. They're also building individual toilets. It's a perfectly right thing to do. So why do you say, all that I can say is, in hindsight, we have not trumpeted our accomplishments as well and as cleverly as this government.
Then would you at least give credit to the Modi government for improving the perception of the country all over the world, and also...
Well, don't go all over the world. I don't think all over the world Jan Dhan and Swachh Bharat have resonance. Let's talk about India now. I think we have to acknowledge that they have advertised their work better.
So I have a question. The Congress has been repeatedly attacking the BJP for being pro-corporate. That's the line Mr. Rahul Gandhi has now taken. And now Arun Jaitley is saying that it's very hypocritical of the Congress to make that argument because it was voted out as far on account of crony capitalism and besides the scams, 2G, coal allocation and all that. How do you explain this crony capitalism debate between you and the Congress and the BJP?
You see, it's all very easy to say you're a crony capitalist and I am pro-development. Let's take the two examples that you gave. I'm not for a moment holding a brief for any irregularity or illegality that may have been committed. We're talking about policy. The spectrum allocation policy on a first-come, first-served basis was started in 1993. And the first 20-year licenses expired or will expire in December 2014. Since 1993, how many governments have been there in this country? Since 1993, we've had successive governments, including a BJP government, which followed the same spectrum allocation policy. Take, for example, coal allocation. The Act is a 1954 Act. I wish some of you look at Section 5 and Section 11 of the Act. That allows for an application, allows for a first come, first serve, allows for the central government to make an allocation of a coal mine. That policy has been followed by successive governments since the Act was made. Therefore, all governments which follow the policy are crony capitalists. Is that the conclusion? No. If there has been an irregularity and illegality favoring someone, that is a matter of concern and therefore accusation. But simply following a policy is not crony capitalism. Please remember, it is our government which recorded 8.5% average growth in the period of 10 years. The highest growth ever recorded in any 10-year period in the history of India. You cannot record 8.5% growth by being a crony capitalist government. You can be a government of development, pro-growth, and then show 8.5% growth. I wish the present government exceeds our growth rate. When they do that, I will compliment them. But don't point fingers when our record shows that the growth during our period was 8.5%. And by the way, what do you say of an incident where the Prime Minister, in the presence of a senior banker and a senior industrialist, makes a statement, yes, Bank A will give industrialist B 5,000 crore. What do you call that?
Was that said publicly?
Of course it was said publicly, you reported it.
Sir, can I? One second, sir. The Tamil Nadu PCC president is speaking.
No, we are not answering questions from the
This
past.
is an important issue. You are representing Tamil Nadu.
But I declined to answer.
Ask you the
But I declined to answer the
Now,
question.
is it true that you refused to sign the memorandum which was submitted to the governor of Tamil Nadu?
I declined. I
evidence?
declined. This press conference is about the economy of India. I declined to answer the question actually.
Sir, financially striving to promote Make in India concept. What do you mean as Prime Minister saying in influential countries that before he took over, every Indian would think that पिछले जन्म का कोई पाप था that हमारा जन्म पहले.
Were you ashamed? I was not ashamed. I was born many, many years ago. I was not ashamed to be born in India. I ask every one of you, was anyone here ashamed before 26th May 2014 that he was born in India? If any one of you is ashamed, please ask the question and I'll answer the question.
So coming back to her point,
Tax terrorism was a matter of big concern during the UPA's.
You have to speak a little louder.
So tax terrorism was a big concern during the UPA's regime. And even though some positive steps have been taken by the present government, it still continues to be one of the major factors why we are not able to attract foreign direct investment into India. So as the former finance minister of the country, what would be your advice? What do you think needs to be done on a fast-track mode to ensure that ease of doing business is improved and also tax terrorism doesn't remain a matter of concern?
Tax terrorism was a phrase coined by Mr. J when he was in office. It's come to haunt him now. All that he is doing is being accused as tax terrorism. All that his ministry is doing is being accused as tax terrorism. So I think one should be careful before one coins slogans and words. The only case on which I had then and I have now serious reservations is the Vodafone taxation case. But we have publicly said that we have to find a solution to that problem. I tried to find one. Vodafone tried to meet me halfway, but finally they backed off. We could not find one. I asked the question, why does the present government, with 282 members in the Lok Sabha and no baggage of the earlier amendment bill, with no baggage at all, why are they not resolving the Vodafone problem? It can be done by simply adding one clause to the finance bill, which is the money bill. It does not require the support of the Rajya Sabha. Why have they not solved that problem? And what is their answer to all of the charges of tax terrorism that is being leveled against them? You are taxing FIIs, you are taxing FPIs, you are imposing MAT. So I think one must be very careful when one coins attractive slogans.
But do you feel that tax terrorism was actually a real problem?
No, I think Vodafone is a one-off case. Vodafone is a one-off case. It should have been handled differently. I tried my best to resolve the problem in the months that I had towards the end of the UPA government. I tried very hard, but I could not succeed. The next government should have followed it up and cleaned up that problem.
Sir, how many scores would you like to give to this government on the, as far as the economy is concerned? How many marks out of 10?
I told you, I'm not in the business of marking. That's your business.
But still, sir, overall, how much would you like?
I'm not in the business of marking. You ask me specific issues, I will answer.
Is double digits achievable, sir?
Jobs, let's say jobs.
Yeah.
I don't see any creation of jobs. In fact, the last numbers that have come in for the last quarter, October, November, December 2014, some 1 lakh jobs were created. And I saw some statistic yesterday on the employment exchanges of Tamil Nadu there are 85 lakh people registered. 85 lakh in a state where the population is about 7.5 crore. That's roughly about 1/9 or 1/10. Now, if 10% of your workforce, 10% of your population is registered in the employment stock exchange, employment exchange, what has 1 year of brought in terms of jobs? In terms of jobs, I would give this government 0.
And so
Sir,
what
I
was the
just
MOU?
want to add one question. This is not related to the economy, but since you've been Home Minister.
No, I may or may not answer.
The Defence Minister, Mr. Parikar, 2 days back, you should record as having said that India should follow, that his government is following a terror for terror policy vis-a-vis dealing with Pakistan.
A terrible mistake by the Defence Minister. I hope he recognizes the enormity of the statement he made and quickly finds a way to withdraw it. India does not encourage or harbor terrorists. India does not have terrorists among its agencies. And India cannot use a terrorist to neutralize another terrorist.
It's the same thing. Sartaj Aziz has given a statement saying that Defence Minister's statement clearly reflects that India has been playing some terrorist role inside Pakistan, maybe in Balochistan and Central.
Well, I can say with complete confidence and authority that India has not deployed any terrorist or any other criminal element in any part of Pakistan during the tenure of the UPA government, and I believe that the NDA government also will not and is not doing it. The statement by the Defence Minister is completely out of line and he should withdraw it immediately.
So on the issue of the notification that was issued just 2 days ago by the Government of India, MHA, since you are a former Home Minister and Article 239A has a special status for Delhi, how do you think that they were well within their domain? Because Arvind Kejriwal had also filed FIRs against Muli Deora, Veerappa Moily and others. So is this something that satisfies the Congress party? Do you support it or you don't?
I have not studied the matter from a legal point of view. I have no particular sympathy for Mr. Kejriwal and his antics, but I still believe that the elected Chief Minister of Union Territory, even a Union Territory, must have a significant say in the postings and appointments of officers. And if the LG, through this notification, has been given absolute power in the matter, without any role for the Chief Minister, that I think is retrograde and undemocratic.
Will he be consulted? Will he have the word?
Well, as I said, I don't support the notification. At the same time, I have no sympathy for a Chief Minister who's inviting all this trouble upon himself. But legally and constitutionally, I think a Chief Minister should have a significant say in the matter of appointments and postings.
Then the question will come back to haunt you again. Why did you give full statehood to Delhi when you were for 10 years in power and you had your own Chief Minister? What stopped the UK government in giving Sheila Dikshit the full statehood? Because they were demanding.
Of course they were demanding, and again the BJP demanded full statehood. But the point is, at that point of time, we had given them substantial powers and we did not interfere in their administration. But we did not give full statehood because that has implications. Is there a consensus in this country about giving full statehood? Not giving full statehood is one thing, but giving the LG power to choose who will be the Chief Secretary, who will be the Finance Secretary is another thing. Please don't mix a larger policy issue with what is clearly a political fight between two parties, one which won and one which lost miserably.
So many MOUs are being signed by various countries. We have seen how the Prime Minister has been traveling across the globe. How much investment do you think that will be coming in real terms? You have been doing bringing the investment yourself for so many years.
Investment is an act of faith. when the foreign investor believes that the environment is conducive to good growth and good profits, he will bring us money. But when credit growth is the lowest in many years, when aggregate demand is sluggish, when 585 private sector projects are stalled, how will the investor come in? So these are the matters which have to be addressed before the investor comes in. Address issues of aggregate demand, credit growth, and stalled projects. You will find investment will come.
So the present government very proudly said that they are given 1 year, last 1 year directionless government.
We've asked the lady there to ask. Can you see this?
Sir, even the US report recently pointed out the cases of religious intolerance that have happened after the NDA government came into power. Recently, our Minister of State for Minority Affairs, Mr. Lakshmi, said all those who are opposing leave ban should go to Pakistan. You've been a Home Minister yourself, particularly with the statements that have been issued by BJP leaders. What do you think about the entire communal harmony state of affairs in India?
Well, this has become a habit with BJP ministers and functionaries. They make some horrific statements and then they spend time trying to explain it. Somebody said if you want to eat beef, go to Pakistan. Somebody said if you have not voted for the BJP, go to Pakistan. Somebody said if you don't believe in Hindutva, you're not Ram's son but somebody else's son. These are terrible statements. How can any civilized country, in which we believe that we have a civilized political system, tolerate such terrible statements? My regret is not that the statements are made, they are hurtful. My regret is the silence of the leaders over these statements. Why are people not being punished for making such horrible statements?
Sir, can I know?
Sir, नजमा अब्दुल्ला जी ने कहा है कि अगर मुसलमान नौकरियों में नहीं है तो इसके लिए बीजेपी या आरएसएस रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं है बल्कि सत्ता में कांग्रेस रही है, कांग्रेस जिम्मेदार है।
Well, I think the Congress that Najma ji is referring to was the Congress in which she was a very senior member. This is a problem that endures in this country. That Muslims face discrimination is a reality. Muslims don't get jobs, Muslims don't get housing, is a reality. Nobody is proud about that. In fact, we must hang our heads in shame that such things continue in this country. But you can never accuse the Congress of actively encouraging or promoting an anti-Muslim environment or an anti-Muslim sentiment. We have tried, we may not have succeeded. But what is bad is creating an environment where people will begin to hate or abhor Muslims. That is what we are questioning.
With regard to the economy, do you think that the India is following your direction? And secondly, with regard to the road prices, why haven't you passed on the
Because Mr. Jaitley gets a huge windfall by not passing it on. In fact, if the retail prices reflected the decline in international crude oil prices, petrol and diesel should be selling at least 15 rupees lower per litre than what they are selling today. If they had simply reflected the international decline in prices. When prices rise, that's a different matter. But by increasing excise duty on diesel and petrol, by imposing a new customs duty which was zero earlier, I think he's reaped a windfall. Our back of the envelope calculation shows he may get as much as 50,000 crore rupees, which is what? Which is what the consumer should have got, the government is getting. What the consumer paid as price, he is now paying as a tax. Let every family know what you earlier paid as a price. The crude oil producer has reduced the cost, but you are now paying as a tax to the government.
Sir, can I ask you, sir? The Arun Jaitley have claimed that the past 1 year, the government has given a corruption-based government, and if those are involved in corruption, we will expose them. Whereas your party will be Tamil Nadu government.
I said I don't answer the question. Next. You should have come to Chennai yesterday and asked me the question.
Sir, there are reports that.
Sorry. Yes.
Yes, please ask.
So there are reports that senior leader A.K. Advani is not being invited for first anniversary celebration. How are you looking?
These are internal party matters. I can't comment on all that.
सर जितने भी सर्वे आए हैं सब में यही देखा गया है कि देश की जनता मोदी सरकार के 1 साल के कामकाज से खुश है। आपका क्या कहना है इस पे?
I don't know. I understood your question. Now, as I said, which survey you are referring to? I have got with me an Ipsos Times of India survey. I have got with me a Maven conversation survey. There's an India Today survey. The point is, each one has a point of view. As I said, if you're a farmer, you have a point of view. If you're a housewife, you have a point of view. If you're one employed in the IT sector, you have a point of view. If you're a capitalist businessman, you have a point of view. Undoubtedly, all surveys show that the level of support that they enjoyed in May 2014 has declined sharply by May 2015. Have you seen those surveys? Every survey, including the survey you are talking about, shows there's a decline in the level of support that they enjoyed in May 2014 and May 2015. Why? People are beginning to recognize that much of the Achhe Din was only Chunavi Juna.
Last question to you, ma'am.
Sir, you said that to attract.
Why did you change your seat?
So you said that for to be able to attract a foreign direct investment or any sort of investment, investor confidence needs to be built. What do you think needs to be done to increase?
I answered that question.
To give a push, I want to know specifically what do you think the government is not
Yes,
doing?
address the issue of credit growth.
But how can that happen under the issue of NPAs is addressed?
No. If you want me to tell you how to address aggregate demand and credit growth and the question of stall projects, well, frankly, that is the government's business. It is those who are sitting in government who have to address these
They're
issues.
alleging that you've created such a big mess that it's taking them a very long time.
No, there's no big mess. Don't come to that conclusion. Our record is so far unsurpassed. I wish them well to surpass our record. Our record is 8.5% growth in 10 years. Do you deny that? How did we achieve that record? By ensuring that credit growth is high, by ensuring aggregate demand is high, by ensuring that conditions are created where people will invest. Now you are in government, you have a problem, deal with the problem. That's why people elected you.
So when you were in power, the BJP used to say no, don't mix cricket with Pakistan. Don't play cricket with Pakistan. Now we are told that they are about to resume cricketing ties with Pakistan.
Oh, they also said a lot of things. They in fact said, don't even meet the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Biryani diplomacy. Then they said that. Then they said, talk to Pakistan in the language which Pakistan will understand. They said that, didn't they? They said about China. What did they say about China? So I think party has correctly described this government as a U-turn Sarkar. Some of the U-turns are welcome. That's a belated realization of the reality and the truth. But some of the U-turns are perplexing, puzzling U-turns. I've given examples of U-turns which are quite puzzling. Why do you put the direct taxes code to the back burner? Why do you ditch the PDMA? Why are you not implementing the legislative proposals of the FSLRC? I'm again coming back to economics. These are completely puzzling. There's a great degree of unanimity in the country among experts and those who are concerned that these are reforms that are absolutely necessary. A direct access code, a PDMA, the Financial Sector Legislative Reforms Commission's recommendations, why are all of them being put on the back burner when you have 282 members in the Lok Sabha? I think with that question I leave you. Thank you very much. Great pleasure meeting you.